Following is a slideshow of how I built my floating tiny house for less than $15,300. You must understand that I live in the Caribbean and I've had to pay shipping and anywhere from 15 to 37.5% duty on all the building materials and appliances, etc. in the house. The first series of slides, I am building the floor. The barrels and stuff will be attached underneath. The lumber is all pressure treated and it's 2x8 by 20. The frame has been leveled and squared, and I'm installing 2x4 runners which will help support the barrels underneath when they are in the water lifting the house. Each of the boards is dadoed into the 2x8s, and there's also a notch made for the straps that will hold the barrels in position until they actually get into the water, at which time the straps are actually not required because they'll each be in their own little channel and thus unable to move. When you see the house in the water, you'll see that it is very stable. It doesn't rock, but it does slide back and forth. Of course, it is on a canal, so it is not exposed to any rough water, but it only drafts about 8 inches. All the items are put together with rust-resistant screws. There are no nails. The 2x8s are also strapped on the bottom to keep the end pieces from working loose as the thing floats in the water. If you built this house without the barrels and the flotation, and here you can see the barrels are going on, they're being mounted. They're all very tough plastic barrels, and they've had their openings secured with a good caulking compound and put in tightly. And since they are not exposed to any sunlight as they are under the house, they will last a very long time. And this is the crane that's putting the actual base of the house into the water, because there's no crane here available to put the entire finished house in the water. It's just too heavy and too far to run. There are 60 barrels underneath there. Each barrel is able to support 350 pounds. And as you can see, it barely puts a dent into the water. Now I have laid out the stud work. All the studs are 2x4 while they're down, and all the plywood is screwed to the studs. The plywood is also set so that the bottom of the plywood actually extends about 1 inch beyond the actual stud, so that when it's tipped up onto the platform, the lip will actually prevent any rainwater from washing under the stud into the house. I've built 2 walls at the same time, and as you can see, I put some boards up to keep it from accidentally going too far when we lifted it. And by having the 2 walls, I can lift them and create a corner, which makes it very solid. And everything is made to square, not level, as it is a boat, so there is no level reference. as you can see, levelness while I'm putting the extra walls up. Very shortly, since it was a warm day and there was no breeze coming through as the doors and windows are actually closed, I will roughly cut out the windows to let some breeze and air through this thing to keep it a little bit cooler while I'm working. The entire structure was built by myself, except for an occasional help like tipping up the walls. And I've had a few people help me paint, but all the construction was done by myself alone. Here I'm cutting out the windows and doors to get a little breeze going through the place. Our tidal range in this area is about 3 feet, so the house does go up and down, like I said, but it is tied to the dock and is very easy to manipulate. The house, when it's finished, is actually plugged into the dock with a 110 cord and has a hose that provides running water through a filter that's mounted on the outside of the house. Here I am putting up the rafters for the roof. They are a 20-foot 2x8 that's been cut down to a 2x6 on the outside, so that it's a straight cut from the outside to the middle of the board, which gives the roof a little bit of slope so that it doesn't end up holding any water. I was elected to put the roof on before I put any more walls up, as this also squared up the walls and held them in position so that everything was nice and square. The roof itself is 5/8 pressure treated plywood, and it is also screwed down. And roofing material, we use a rolled roofing, and it was glued onto the plywood so that there were no nails to deal with. The house is turned with the screened porch section towards the dock because it made it a lot easier to bring building materials, etc., in through the porch that's wide open rather than try and go through doorways, etc. There's also one corner of the plywood on the roof that's not put down yet. That gives me easy access to go up and finish the screwing, etc., etc. Each one of the walls was laid out flat and plywood was screwed to it to make sure that it was square before it was put up into position. The layout of the house, there's the screen porch as it's coming into shape. This is the interior. It's got a kitchen, a full bedroom, a bath with a shower, and a small walk-in closet. Here I'm put in the electric as well as plumbing. Everything was run in conduit, THHN wire, number 12, used throughout. It's a 110 volt system and has a single breaker box with 3 breakers in it. Hot water is provided by a tank on the roof that's painted black, and it's solar and has no backup other than the sunshine. As you can see, the house was also insulated ceiling and walls, and this is 1/4 inch plywood paneling that's being put up. Cabinets are taking shape. The windows have been installed. That was the shower. I have a stove and oven. It's a propane stove using a regular 20-pound propane tank. Full-size refrigerator. The shower was waterproof. It has a Fairlight type air cement bottom to keep the weight down, and it was tiled floor to ceiling. Countertops are epoxied. The bed has 4 drawers underneath for storage. It's a queen size bed. There's 2 tables that are attached to the walls, one inside and one on the screen porch. One acts as a dining table and one just a lounge type thing. The floors are painted. In his pictures, these are early pictures, they're painted white. It was changed to a gray heavy paint, and as you can see, there were counterweights of blocks of poured cement that were installed on the porch walls to counterweight and keep the house at a level attitude, as the kitchen and appliances were mostly on one side. There's a swim platform with an outdoor shower that was added, as well as an entry door porch with a roof. Then the house was rotated on the dock so that it fits with easy access. Thank you for watching.